His reasoning was that LeBron now has the game's highest IQ and is a basketball savant. Shannon, does Cuban have a point?
He does. And Skip, it's kind of like these quarterbacks. It's like there's not a defense you can throw at Brady or Breeze or Aaron Rodgers in which they haven't seen. Now, you might pressure him and make them make some mistakes, but as far as a defensive schematically, you can't throw anything at them like, oh, okay. They're going to know. They can diagnose it. Now, you can put pressure on them and make them and speed them up. And that's where LeBron is. At 17 years in the league, Skip, he's matured. His mind, he knows what you're trying to do. He knows the weakness in the defense, where he needs to go with the ball automatically. He's advanced. So there's no question in my mind he's a better player. Now, I don't believe he can jump as high as he could. People don't realize, do they realize how long ago that's been, Skip? That's 10 years. We're coming up on 10 years. That's how long it's been. That was 2011. Here we are in 2020. So that's almost a decade ago. And so I agree with Mark Cuban that this LeBron James is much different than that LeBron James. And had this LeBron James had been playing then, they would have swept the Dallas Mavericks. But that's neither here nor there. The Mavericks won. They deserve to win. But LeBron James has advanced in his mind and his ability to play the game of basketball.
And I say this is the biggest bunch of baloney I have ever heard spewed, even from Mark Cuban. And by the way, I have invited, even dared Mark Cuban to come sit right here, and I've not heard a peep from him, but he is still invited to come sit here any day, any night that he wants. We'll even put it on in prime time. LeBron James was not a rookie in 2011. He was in his 8th year in the league, in the NBA. He was in his 2nd NBA Finals. He had already won 2 MVPs. And now Cuban, which he's done before with me on another show, he's trying to take strategic credit for taking LeBron right out of the flow of the game. He was lost. He was befuddled. He was bamboozled by the zones we threw at him. Are you kidding me? What was the quote from Cuban? We would run a zone against him, and he would hesitate and not know what to do.
Right.
Are you telling me LeBron James in AAU basketball and high school basketball had never seen a zone defense? Stop it!
But here's the thing. In high school, LeBron James is so much more talented than those guys. That's a difference. But let me ask you a question. If the zone defense is so easy to break, why couldn't Giannis do it? Why couldn't the Celtics do it?
Talking about LeBron,
but who
does have the highest IQ in basketball. And you know what? He had it when I watched him on TV when he was in high school. You could just see it. He saw what was happening before it even happened. He was born with the gift of vision and anticipation.
Yes.
It is extraordinary.
It's heightened.
He was always the best passer in basketball. Obviously, he needed to buttress it, to reinforce it with experience in the league.
But
when you're in your 8th year in the league, at the end of your 8th year, playing with the Miami Heat, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, coached by Spoelstra and overseen by Pat Riley, you're lost and befuddled by a zone defense. Stop it.
Let me ask you a question.
Baloney.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe Eric Spoelstra is a better coach now or was a better coach then? Why? Why?
Well, that was the year LeBron went upstairs and told Pat Riley, it's time for you to take over.
So in other words, everybody else can get better with time. Only LeBron James was supposed to be at his absolute best then and cannot grow since.
8 years into the league with 2 MVPs, and you're telling me he's like a deer in headlights? They're playing zone. I don't know what to do.
No. But he didn't say, Skip, he hesitate. And in sports, he who hesitate is beat.
Well, that's life, actually.
Thank you.
Okay, games 4, 5, and 6 was the all-time freeze-up job by a superstar. It was chosen one turns into frozen one, and it wasn't because of zone defenses or any strategy that the Dallas Mavericks deployed. He just wasn't ready for the brightest lights. That kind of pressure, they were called the Heatles, remember? And it was extraordinary. They were favored to win. They were expected to win. And in games 4, 5, and 6, he averaged 15 points, 8 and 8. 8 and 8's good, but the 15 not good because he shot only 44% when he was a 51% shooter from the field in the regular season. He went 2 of 12 from 3 in those last 3 games. That's 17%. He went 4 of 10 from the free throw line. You know what that percent is. And he finished in those 3 games minus 41 in his plus minus. It was horrendously bad, and it wasn't about a zone defense.
What was So that the defense had nothing to do with it.
I'm sure it had a little to do with it, but he is LeBron James, and it wasn't because his IQ hadn't been honed enough in the NBA.
Well,
8 years.
But it's funny. I know a guy went 7 years and he couldn't get to the finals.
Yeah,
what was that about?
But nobody ever said he had to figure out how to, to play against a zone.
He had to figure out how to trust his teammates.
All right, I got a question for you guys. Was J.J. Watt behind the Texans cutting ties with Coach Bill O'Brien? There's a